Hey guys, it's Di from BeingMommywithStyle and welcome to our fall 2015 Walt Disney World Family Vacation dining review. So at this point, all of our vlogs have run. If you haven't watched those yet, I'll link the playlist down below for all of our day in the lifestyle vlogs of the days that we were at Disney World. We were there October the 31st through November the 4th, and we went to all 4 theme parks. We did stay at my dad's house, who has a house that he kind of winters at there in Orlando, so we stayed at his house and rented a van, and that all went fine. If you missed my kind of recap or disclaimer that I posted before I placed the videos up, I will link that down below as well. Wasn't the best trip ever, but it did have some high points, so I'm getting ready to edit like our best moments video. We did have fun along the way, and the sting of the trip, it's the week of Thanksgiving now and it's snowing outside when I am filming this, so the sting of the trip has started to go away. Everyone's back healthy again, I can luckily report, and you know, I mean, we're able to kind of reflect on the good parts at this point. We did have some rough patches, and especially towards the end, I think that really kind of started affecting our mood and kind of general outlook on everything. But for this video, I wanted to kind of talk about our different dining reservations that we had. We had 7 dining reservations. And honestly, at this point, I've edited all the footage at this point, and I think a lot of it came through in the video. You guys nailed the meal that I would say was the worst. I mean, you guys nailed every single point about why I felt it was bad, quote unquote, without me having to say it. So to me, that kind of says that yes, there were some issues there. It wasn't just all in our head or all in our mood. It's unfortunate, and I am considering contacting Disney just solely for the point of I hope that no one ever has that experience that we had. You know, when I think about other people going to Disney, I want them to have the best experience. I want them to have the trip that we had last year in the fall. I don't want them to have this trip that we had this fall. And some of it's out of Disney's control, like the heat and us getting sick and things like that. They can't do anything about that part. But how the dining goes, they can control that. So anyhow, long story short, let's get into these. So I've starred our favorites. So let me rattle off the 7 places that we went to. Cinderella's Royal Table inside the Castle in Magic Kingdom, Hollywood and Vine at Hollywood Studios, Tusker House at Animal Kingdom, Crystal Palace, we had breakfast there, it's in Magic Kingdom, Be Our Guest for lunch inside the Beast Castle at Magic Kingdom, Chef Mickey's inside the Contemporary Resort, and the final meal of the trip was Garden Grill at the Land in Epcot. So, just to back up, you guys hopefully at this point know, if you're watching this video, the schedule was not optimal. So I think that really the short end of the stick, Garden Grill, really is going to kind of get the short end of the stick. It really wasn't like that bad of a meal, and I wouldn't go out of my way to not recommend it. So I don't want anything to like come across like negative for that one, because by that point of the trip we'd had so much other stuff going on that it really was just kind of a mediocre note to end on. But we ended the trip before at Cinderella's Royal Table. You can't compete against that. So, you know, it was up against a lot. We'll just put it that way. So first of all, the 3 that I've starred were Cinderella's Royal Table, Tusker House, and Chef Mickey's. Top 3 meals of the trip, I'm not going to order them. 2 of them we've been to before. Cinderella's Royal Table and Tusker House were repeats. Love them. Great food, great service, great characters. All around, would recommend both of those. Love them, love them, love them. Third one that got a star, as in like 2 thumbs up, was Chef Mickey's. I really enjoyed this one. My family, I think, was neutral at this point just because people were starting to get sick and people were really tired and people were like, okay. But I really loved this one. I thought it was a 5-star meal in the sense of being a great atmosphere. The food was really great. It was fresh. It was prepared correctly, in my opinion. I mean, it's going to be different from person to person, but I didn't feel like anything was undercooked or overcooked or anything like that. So the food was great, the characters were great, they interacted well, they hung in there when Natalie dived on them. Natalie was in a diving stage. She just kept diving into the characters, and some of them didn't handle that well. I don't blame them. I mean, who wants to be dove on by a kid? But that's kind of their job too, right? So all the characters at Chef Mickey's did great when Natalie kind of dove on top of them. I think I'm just going to do a video of Natalie diving on top of characters. So anyhow, Chef Mickey's, thank goodness we had that meal on the last day, because that was really kind of the best part about the last day. The last day was rough. It was Epcot day. I just edited that video. Anyways, so best meals were Cinderella's Royal Table, Tusker House, Chef Mickey's. Love those meals, would highly recommend them. Cinderella's Royal Table, we had Ariel, Snow White, Jasmine, and I can't remember who else. I think that was it. We were missing, quote unquote, a princess. I think there's usually supposed to be 4, and apparently one called in sick. And we met Cinderella when we walked in. Tusker House, we had the usual. It was Donald, Daisy, Goofy, and Mickey. Love that assortment. Their outfits are cute. At Chef Mickey's, we had 5 characters. I love that. I think it's a great meal, and I think it's a great value because you get 5 characters. It was the Fab 5. So Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Goofy, and Donald. So that was the highlights of the trip. Moving on. So the neutral ones. So I touched a little bit on this in like my before review. Let me just talk about Hollywood and Vine because I had people watch that video and they said it looked great. Why would you say you would have changed that, or why were you kind of like down on it? So first of all, I was down on it because we'd just gotten back from our trip when I did the trip recap. And I still stand by everything that I said. I wouldn't not recommend it. So let me make sure that's clear. If you haven't done it before, I would say try it out. If you have kids that are in that sweet spot, like ages 2 through 6 or something like that, do Hollywood and Vine. Try it out. Go for it. I think that a couple of the things that happened weren't, they were abnormal, and they didn't have anything to do with the place. The characters were great. They were great with the kids. The kids enjoyed seeing them. The food was good. It tasted good. We did have 2 people in our party that had tummy issues, which were short-lived, thankfully. We did have 2 people in our party that had tummy issues right after we ate. So I'm just gonna leave that how it is. I mean, you can't do anything about it. It was fine. It didn't ruin our trip. There was just, I think, one particular thing, and I don't know what it is, so I don't want to say it was this thing, but I think I've narrowed it down from what those 2 people both ate that no one else ate. I think I know what it is, so we could probably just avoid that next time. So that was kind of a bummer on it. So the characters were good. The food tasted good. It kind of upset the tummy of a couple people. And then when we were checking out, like the guy made a mistake. I don't know whether he was new or whatever. I plopped down my Visa debit card, like just my regular Chase. It's a Chase card. So I plopped it down, and he came back and he's like, oh, I gave you 20% off for a Disney card or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I must have had a confused look on my face because I was like, we've never had this before. What is this? And I wasn't putting 2 and 2 together. I can't remember what happened at this point, whether he, you know what, I think he ran it at a discount rate. It doesn't matter. He ran it at the discount rate and then came back over and told me, wait, I made a mistake. I have to run it again because you weren't supposed to get that 20% off. So at this point, I'm just like confused. I'm just like, okay, go do whatever you need to do. So that he charged like $154, and then he had to cancel that out, and then the actual price was like $171 or something like that. It was 3 adults, 2 kids. So then he brings it back and he's like, the card won't work. I'm like, great. And I knew exactly what had happened because we have a lot of fraud things on our card. So the second that he had run it, canceled it, and tried to run it again for the higher amount, Chase shut down my debit card and said, no way, no how. So then I had to go sit on the phone with Chase for 20 minutes and get it sorted out. Yes, I'm actually in Florida, you know, blah, 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 blah. Turn the card back on. So fine, I sorted out, you know, they run it at the higher rate, and that's fine. So, you know, again, it was just a mistake, and it wasn't like it didn't ruin my trip or anything like that. It was just annoying. So it was just a little annoyance. I would say the biggest problem, and the reason why I said I would have changed that when I was reflecting back on it, was the tummy issues. Because, you know, we were meeting up with friends, and that really kind of makes you nerve-wracked when a couple people are like, you know, my tummy doesn't feel good, it really hurts, what's going on? But it was short-lived, and people were fine. We were able to finish out the day. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about Hollywood and Vine. If you haven't tried it and you have kids in the 2 to 6, I recommend it. Give it a try. I mean, the things that happened to us were very abnormal. So, moving on. Oh gosh, do I have to talk about Crystal Palace? Okay, so first of all, if you haven't seen the video, go watch the video before you hear me talk about this. This was the next to last day. So keeping in mind, I had sun poisoning, sun allergy, whatever at this point. I'm like limping and not feeling great because of that. Natalie was starting to get sick and we didn't know it yet. Now looking back on the videos, I can see it on the last 2 days. She's starting to get sick. We just didn't know. The day started with us planning in like an hour extra, get there early, you have plenty of time to get from the parking lot. We're well acquainted with Disney. We know you have to go parking lot to ticket transportation to inside. It was a moderately busy day, but things just didn't go great. The minute we got there, you know, you're waiting to get in. Okay, fine, we built in time for all this. We get over to the ferry because the line for the monorail was all the way down. And we wait for the ferry. Okay, fine. We get on the ferry and we sit. And we sit and we sit and we sit. So they loaded everyone on, and it was some mechanical thing or something happened. We sat there for a good 20 to 25 minutes. I didn't film most of that time, but you hear me say in the video, we've been sitting here for 20, 25 minutes. And at that point, we were almost at our reservation time. We were not gonna make it because after you ride the ferry over, which takes a good 10 minutes, I'd say, then you have to go through bag check, then you have to go in, and then you still have to get where you're going. We were way not gonna make our reservation at that point. So we make it over there. The bag check line is all the way down the ramp and starting to go back up the ramp to go around. That won't make any sense unless you've been there, but it was a longer line. And I'm like flipping out at this point because I hate being late to stuff, but we can't do anything. So we wait in the bag check line, and then to get down, I'd already called dining and they said there was nothing I could do. They said reservation, they would hold a reservation for 20 minutes afterwards, but after that, you know, there was no guarantee. So I already called them, there was nothing that they could do. I called them when we were sitting on the ferry. So we get in, we scan our magic bands, and we just start running down Main Street. This is not how you want to start your trip, okay? It's not magical in the least to be running down Main Street to get to your, I'm not a runner, folks. I don't like to run. Okay, so we were literally running down Main Street to get to this reservation. We luckily got there, and they were nice enough that they held it. We were there like 25 minutes after our reservation. They technically only had to hold it 20 minutes, and they held it for us. Okay, fine. So we sit out on the thing, we get all calmed down, everyone, you know, maintains regular breathing or whatever. It's hot. So we get inside, it's nice to be in the air conditioning, and then the meal just wah. I mean, the whole thing. Okay, so let me sum it up. The service was mediocre. It was not the best server that we'd had at Disney World. The food was mediocre. It was not the best food we had at Disney World. And by that, I mean, yes, they serve similar like types of food from every single breakfast. We've done Cape May, we've done Chef Mickey's, we've done something else, I can't remember what it was. So yes, it's about all the same, but it can be prepared differently. There was a lot of stuff that wasn't as tasty as I thought it should be. Some things I thought were undercooked to my potential liking, like bacon, a little more cooked than what it was. Some things that seemed overcooked, some of the casserole stuff. So the rolls weren't the freshest. I don't know. It just, the food was not 100%. The food was not as good as Chef Mickey's. We'll put it that way. And then the characters came around. And if you guys saw the video, they all seemed a little bit off. We got skipped by Eeyore twice. We never did see Eeyore. Pooh was fine. Tigger was fine. And then there was Piglet. And all I can say at this point is that you just have to watch the video. I didn't even video the whole thing because there was a couple other parts, but Piglet was seriously like, I mean, that was Piglet. I'm like, who are you? What are you doing underneath there? Like, it's not right. It was not Piglet. I mean, Piglet should be sweet and he. I felt like we got a lot of attitude from Piglet, and it just, after running down Main Street and then sitting there, and then the food wasn't great, and then Piglet comes around, and I'm done. I'm over it. I'm done. Let's go. Like, that just, it was a bad combination. Okay, so long story short, we will not be going to Crystal Palace again. I would not recommend it after the experience that we've had. I know that a lot of people have eaten there and have had good experiences, so just because I personally wouldn't recommend it based on the experience that we had doesn't mean that you shouldn't eat there, okay? Try it for your own. I'm seriously thinking about emailing Disney though, because no one should have, I don't care who you are. I don't care whether you're gonna go home and make a video like this. I don't, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's your first time there or your 100th time there. No one should have that experience in Disney, honestly. No one should have that experience. The overall whole experience, from you know, mediocre service to the mediocre food to the what is up with the characters. It wasn't well orchestrated. It wasn't well managed. I don't know if they're having management issues, because I know that a couple other people in the November planning group said that they also had a bad experience there. So I feel like I need to email Disney to say, hey, you need to figure out what's going on in the Crystal Palace, because this is what happened to us. At least I have a little bit of it on video. I'm just gonna leave it how it is, because obviously I talk a lot and I could go on, but don't not do it just because of us. But I hope you don't have the same experience that we had. Be Our Guest lunch that day. So of course, we've eaten at Be Our Guest before. We ate there for dinner. We wanted to try out the lunch. I wanted to try the little cute little cupcakes, the ones that the gray stuff cupcakes that they only have at lunch. We had the gray stuff dessert with like the little chocolate bar at dinner. I wanted to try the cupcakes. Great to try it once. Don't know that we'll do it again. Everyone kind of felt like the quick service didn't match the atmosphere of the castle. We all kind of felt like the dinner was tastier than the lunch. There was nothing wrong with the quick service Be Our Guest. If you're just trying to get in there, you maybe want to save a little bit of money. The lunch or the breakfast might be a good option for you. For us, you know, the dining, if we're gonna do it, we want to do it like full out. So for our next trip, we're planning on doing the Be Our Guest dinner again. I've already got the reservations, and all the other Be Our Guest reservations that I actually have, like a breakfast and a lunch reserved, I'm gonna cancel those. It just, for our family, it was fine. The food was fine, and I think it was okay for the price. But it was just fine. I think our family would prefer the dinner. The things that we got, I got the shrimp and the scallop for dinner. I thought it was great. So anyhow, so I could say the dinner was great and the lunch was fine. If you haven't eaten the lunch, it is a lot less expensive. So if you're just wanting to get into the castle to see it, to see the pictures, it's quicker and it's less expensive. So I would recommend lunch in that aspect. If you're actually interested in the food being good, go at dinner. It wasn't that the food was bad. I mean, my quiche was a little dry. You could see that in the video. I mean, the quiche was not the best quiche I'd ever had. And the salad was okay. The kids, actually, Bella got a grilled cheese, and that was good. So if you like grilled cheese, go to Be Our Guest for lunch. All right, moving on. Chef Mickey's. Great. Would recommend it. Loved it. I think I talked about it at the beginning, so we'll move on to the last one, which was Garden Grill. So if you look, this is another one. So I have like stars. I have the minus for Crystal Palace, and then I just have 3 neutral ones. So these 3 neutral ones we're not gonna do on our next trip, but it's not that I necessarily wouldn't recommend them to you, okay? So Garden Grill was, again, fine. Our server was adorable. Gosh, what was her name? It was Fiorina or Theo. She was adorable. She was adorable. I don't know if I got her in the video, but she was very fun and she was adorable. She definitely helped like save the atmosphere, because I think she could see that we were all like wilted at that point. So she was trying to cheer us up, which was great. She was lovely. And then the characters were all great there. They interacted really nicely. Natalie was just like laying in my lap at that point, and they like gave her space, but they were like, you know, you want to come out, you know, you come get a picture. If they saw that she wasn't gonna come out, they, you know, blew kisses or whatever. They didn't like, they respected boundaries great, and they interacted great. So we'll put it that way. Bella got out and got her picture with all of them. Natalie, I think, laid on my lap for half of them and got out for the last half of them. The food was pretty good, but like I said in my beginning video, the style food didn't work for like my husband and mother-in-law. Like that style food is not their favorite. And it's really honestly not even really my favorite. Like I think we ate at Coral Reef a couple times ago, and I like seafoody type of stuff. I don't know. It just wasn't the best fit for us. The food was fine. So you can see if I can't come up with anything positive to say, the food was fine. It was like a beef and a turkey, and the mashed potatoes I remember being good. The rolls and the honey butter were amazing. That you could airmail me and I'd be great with it. The desserts were fine, you know, they were good, but we were really over it by this point. So I really feel like Garden Grill didn't get a fair shake because we were so literally over it by this point. So it was all around pretty good, and I would recommend trying it. If you haven't tried it, try it again. Just because we're not gonna do it again doesn't mean it won't be a great fit for your family. So if you really like cut meats, like turkey and roast beef and mashed potatoes and a home style food, there was broccoli, Bella loved that, mac and cheese, there was a fish, and something else. I would say try it if you like that kind of food. For our family, we probably would have been better off going to some place like Mexico or Italy or Japan in the World Showcase and eating dinner there, because that's more like what we gravitate towards. So anyhow, those are our thoughts on our dining reservations. So the ones we would definitely recommend, and we will be repeating, our Cinderella's Royal Table, Tusker House. Now I don't know if we're gonna do Tusker House on our next trip because I think we're gonna try out Yak and Yeti, but we will definitely go back there at some point in the future. And Chef Mickey's, I thought that was fun. I really enjoyed that one. So that's our kind of thoughts on the dining reviews. Let me know if you have any questions down below and I will try to answer those. Sorry if this was super long-winded. What can you do? I mean, they can't all be winners, right? They can't all be winners. So that is our wrap up of our family vacation 2015 at Walt Disney World. I'll have a couple like best moments videos either before or after this, and then we'll be back to regular day in the lives for Vlogmas coming up. I've got holiday gift guides coming up and all kinds of fun stuff. So I'm looking forward to getting back to regular filming. So that is it for today. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions down below, and we will see you very soon.